What is Shia LaBeouf's name in the
His
movie?
name's Shia or Shia?
Okay.
It's Rachelsey at the movies, yay!
We went and saw Peanut Butter Falcon. So, the setup for this movie is... You want to do the setup?
No, I don't ever do that.
I know, I was going to let you do it this time.
No.
So the setup for this movie is basically, main character is a kid, I guess. I don't know.
He's 22.
22, okay.
Yeah. He's not a kid, but he's a younger man with Down syndrome.
With Down syndrome, and somehow makes his way with another man who is played by...
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
And they kind of, you know, end up traveling together.
It's like a Huckleberry Finn novel.
Right.
It references in the movie. It is, exactly that. It's just like...
Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say about the movie without
giving you spoilers. Right. But we're not time for spoilers yet, Rachel.
Yeah,
it's time for Go, Wait, or Skip.
Yes. So, Kelsey, Go, Wait, or Skip.
Let's say go see this movie. I didn't really want to see this movie because I was like... You know, it just looked like a heartwarming story and all that. But once you get me in there, I'm like, yeah, I love this. I love the relationship between both characters, all the main characters. Actually, I thought it was interesting. It reminded me of a Mark Twain novel, like I said, Huckleberry Finn. And I just love movies that capture love. And this movie was a love story. It was about love. You know, it was about the love that can exist between different people, and like one of the characters said, it was a tie that binds, and what can bring people together. And then seeing people on the screen who will the good of the other, who love each other. I love seeing that on the screen, and I love this movie. I love it.
I'm also going to say go see this movie. So what comes through the theaters often are movies that are meant to be heartwarming and uplifting, and we don't tend to always see those movies because a lot of the times they're junk. Let me remind you of, what did we see? A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's Journey or something? Because we had a bad week and we were like, we're going to go see this. And it was awful. Like, it was just poorly,
Yeah, the story was dumb.
Anyway, this was not that. Like, we saw online, this had really, like, high reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So we went to go see it, and it was a movie about love, and it was love between, like, friends. You had a romantic love in the movie. You also had, like, it dealt a lot with grief. And so characters had, like, lost somebody really important in their lives and how they were dealing with that. I thought it also did a good job just showing different people and how, like, people do things. Sometimes people do good things, sometimes people do bad things, but it's about their heart. And so that movie, this movie, did a really good job showing that.
Spoilers!
So yeah, this kid, Zack, was abandoned by his family. He has Down syndrome, and he was a ward of the state, and he ended up being placed in a nursing home. And he's pretty frustrated being in this nursing home because he doesn't feel like he belongs there. And he feels like he can take care of himself.
I also love movies that are about people that are abandoned or like cast away or that whole thing, and seeing people accept and deal with that. And sorry I interrupted you, but it just reminded me of that. I was like, yeah, and like always identify with those kind of characters because though that theme is a universal theme, it doesn't have to be any specific reason you feel that way. But seeing it on screen was really great, and I loved the main character, Zack, his vibrancy for life, and how unafraid he was to just be himself. He still had a little baggage that comes with what situation he was in, but he truly was just all about going from where he was to where he wanted to be, and he would do anything to do that, and we could probably do that more in our own lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was interesting because I thought they did a good job showing the character, because Zack believed, he was like, I don't belong in this place. I can take care of myself. And then you see as the movie goes on, well, there's some things that Zack can't do. And if he were truly on his own, he would be like at a huge, like he would be in trouble. So like, I mean, at the very beginning, he breaks out of the nursing home, and this is when he makes like his getaway where he actually gets away. In my head, I'm like, well, Zack, he had to climb out through these bars, so he had to, like, soap up his body so he could be slippery. And I was like, well, why didn't you throw your clothes out the window before you jumped out the window? You know what I mean? But that's one of those things that Zack couldn't plan ahead for that.
I mean,
so,
Kelsey might not have planned for that either. So.
Zack is running like away from the nursing home in his underwear, and so like he really can't like do everything that needs to be done to take care of himself. And so how difficult it is to be in that situation if you're somebody that loves Zack, right? Which is the other character, the woman, Eleanor, played by, I think, Dakota Johnson or Dakota Fanning? I forget. She cares for him, and she has to be like, no, like, you have to stay here or whatever. But anyway, Tyler in the movie is kind of down on his luck.
Man, Tyler reminds me of people I know from Tyler. Like, he was like...
From East Texas?
Yeah, that if you're born in East Texas and stay in East Texas, this is no knock against East Texas at all. I'm saying that very homey vibe to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he also was, in a way, like, he also, this has nothing to do with Tyler, Texas, but he was also, he wasn't, like, part of anything. Like, he had lost his brother in the movie.
It seemed like his family was his older brother, and he lost him.
He didn't have a lot of options. Like, he needed work. He couldn't really get the work that he... You know, like, he was in a bad situation.
He was in a bad situation, and so he ended up doing some things that were illegal, and it got him into some trouble, and he was having a hard time processing, like, or handling, like, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So then he makes more bad choices that kind of further make his decision, like, his life even harder, right? And so there's a key moment, like, later in the movie where Zack is like, he's a bad guy. He wants to be a wrestler, but he's going to be a bad guy. And Tyler's like, why are you going to be a bad guy? Like, and he's like, you're a hero. Like, you're a good guy. That's just in your heart. And he was like, and Zack was like, no, my teachers, my coaches, they all said I was retarded. And he was like, I have Down syndrome. So, like, he couldn't be a good guy. And so, like, you know, Tyler, like, he's like, no, it's just in you. That's in your heart. You don't have any choice.
Well, in the whole interaction, when we say it, here, it was like really well written and performed by both the actors. It was really awesome to see that.
But like, I just liked the truth that was there because even Tyler, you could see he's a good guy. You know what I mean? Like he has a good heart, but he had done some like crappy things. You know what I mean? Like, you don't burn up a bunch of people's gear because they're, you know, jerks. Like he burned up like $12,000 worth of equipment because he was mad. You don't do that, but like here he is, he's in a bad spot, he hasn't processed his grief, he's, you know, and his grief is especially hard to process because we learn in a flashback that he might feel like it's his fault that his brother died, but I just felt like that was an important truth, and it's important truth like out in life because we all make mistakes and we do things, but like it's about your heart, and there were people in this movie who did things that were like, you know, there was a guy that shot at him, but you could tell he had a good heart. He also forced a baptism on him later. And like
we don't know the baptism of...
Well, Zack was fine with it.
Only Jesus can be the judge of that.
But I'm saying he had a good heart. There were other people in the movie who you could tell maybe their hearts weren't so good.
Yeah.
But they were all doing like different things. Whether or not they were doing good things or bad things, that really wasn't the point. Like the point was about their heart. And this movie did a really good job of highlighting that.
Movie talked about the friends being the family you pick or something like that.
Friends are the family you choose.
Yeah, okay, I've heard this before. Mm-hmm. But it did display these people becoming like a little family, and I love that. I love love, and I love families, and I love the love in families. That's a lot to say, but it's true, and I love seeing movies like this. I don't get a lot of this in my real life, and I don't get a lot of this in movies, and so it's nice to see it on screen and for it to just be like beautiful and heartwarming, because it does exist in life, right?
Yeah, and it's okay to like go and want like beautiful, heartwarming movies, and this movie happened to be done very, very well, so I really recommend it. And I feel like sometimes when people do heartwarming, they do it poorly. Yeah. But that wasn't the case with this movie.
Exploitive like garbage. This is not that. I did not want to see this because I didn't want it to be exploitive garbage. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was a good movie, and I liked it.
It was really good. My only knock on the whole movie is that there is a love interest that grows between Tyler and Eleanor, and I thought that happened pretty quickly because, you know, I don't know. I guess I could fill in the gaps and say Eleanor was dealing with her own loss and was at a crossroads in her life, so maybe, yeah, she falls in love and follows a homeless guy to Florida. like, and gives up, leaves whatever she leaves behind. I don't know.
To argue for it not being too fast, Tyler put the full court press on her from the moment he saw her. So it's not
Tyler had nothing to lose, so I feel like he just went all in. Like, I can't tell you guys. Here is a guy who's standing in a gas station, who just took a swig of moonshine, hasn't showered in days, is like so like ratty, unshaven. Like, I can't even. I am thinking like he's got to smell. Like, that's just all there is to it. And here Eleanor comes in, and clearly, like, you see, Eleanor walks into this backwoods country like gas station. She's gorgeous, like, just or beautiful, like she's pretty, like that, just like angelic kind of thing that, and both the men in the gas station are clearly like, and yeah, I feel like he had nothing to lose, but that is really saying something. Like, he didn't care. Like,
it was an aggressive press, you know, not like a
uber confident
press,
when you probably don't smell too great, you know.
He had some mad game. I respect that, Tyler. You know who else I respect?
People that like, comment, and subscribe.
That's right. I respect you fully. And so thanks for being
that's how you can show us love.
Person that
Did you know that?
I respect. Thanks.
You can show us love. This movie's about love, and you can show us love.
You be part of our family. Come on.
Go into our YouTube
channel. Just come here.
Liking, commenting, and
subscribing.
Come on.
Come on.
Subscribe.